Welcome to Millennium Counseling Center's podcast, where each week we go in depth into all things mental health, addiction recovery, and being our healthiest and happiest self. Enjoy. Derek, hey man, it's been a while since we had time to do this, so I'm excited to hop on here and have a new combo with you.
Yeah, absolutely. It has been a while, but mostly for good reasons. But a lot of things going on. But yeah, I think I'm excited about what we'll talk about today, and I think hopefully there's some value for that in other people as well.
Yeah. Well, we've been working for about 6 months on putting together a new program at Millennium. And I'm really excited about just from the beginning, like how we're thinking about helping our community in a broader way and just kind of being part of the creation of something new that I think is going to be really helpful and valuable to a lot of people is exciting just because, we started other programs and those have all gone really well. And, to kind of be a part of creating something new, like is very exciting.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think any of the things we've done, right, have come out of an area where we saw a need. Right? We saw that athletes needed more mental health support, right? We saw that intensive trauma work is necessary for people. We saw that different types of groups, there's a need. And I think the next thing that we're doing is based on, I think, just more people needing really good intensive options that kind of fit under the more traditional format of an IOP or a PHP, where you've got a lot of group work, and the way that people think of intensive work oftentimes are under these formats. With 3A, we've done that a little bit differently, but I think there's still a lot of value in this, and I think there's just a really good, a great need for more of this. I think that people need very good options, and so that's what we're trying to do is give people a really solid quality option for that type of format.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and we have an already really solid team at Millennium with LCPCs with 10 plus years experience, PhD therapists that are kind of like already doing great work at Millennium that are all now kind of like the lead clinicians for this new program. And they're really excited to like help again in a new way and bring all of their kind of clinical expertise and experience, as well as just kind of their specific trainings kind of within their academic kind of pursuits, and how that just brings a much higher level of experience and expertise into the room where people are seeking kind of help at a really kind of integral time in their life.
Absolutely. And I think, as we know, working in a group environment or group capacity is like all the different ways that we work with people, that works a little bit differently. Like it works a little bit differently to work in a group. And I think that the ability to do that really well is not something that anyone can do. And so, kind of with the folks that we know will be doing the work through our programming, we not only know that they're skilled, seasoned, kind of high level clinicians, but they've also done a lot of group work. They've worked in that environment a lot and have done really well and have been able to create value in those environments, which does come with, it's a different type of work, and that, you know, you have to also know how to do that specifically versus just being a good clinician who then goes and decides to run a group.
Yeah, agreed. As someone that's run groups for a really long time, when you put a bunch of people in a room together, 7, 8, 9 people in a room, you know, being able to feel really kind of confident that you can help the whole group, no matter kind of where they are at in their process, that takes a lot of time and training in order to kind of be there, right? And to be effective in the
Yeah,
way that, we really want to show up for our community in this new program, right? And so I just think that having this group of people that are able to help and be in the role of group facilitator, like lead group facilitator, I mean, I think it's something that's new, right? And something that's different that I think we try to think about, right? Is what's happening in the space around mental health, behavioral health, and how do we make improvements to that? And I think one of the biggest improvements that we have found that maybe we were trying to take is how do we take really seasoned and really skilled clinicians with a lot of experience and a lot of academic training into the role of lead clinician so that they can make that impact almost right away, for the clients going through the program.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, when you talk about highly skilled clinicians, I think the folks who are very good at this, one of the things that makes them very good at this is they understand that the solution doesn't look the same for every person who walks through the door. So you have somebody, they present with whatever's going on in their life. And part of the value is, getting to know that person, understanding kind of how their thought processes work, knowing what their belief systems are, and then kind of crafting some sort of way to work through that. That's going to be different than somebody else could walk in and give you the exact same challenges, and how you handle that is going to be very different. And that just becomes multiplied in a group environment because there's a lot of different ways you can work with people, a lot of different information you can give them, a lot of different solutions you can, kind of suggest as possibilities. But if you can, essentially, I mean, really what it comes down to kind of is like a really excellent ability to read a room, right?
Mhm.
And to be able to, kind of see what's working and see what's not and see see what resonates with people and see what doesn't. And then how do you find that common ground between 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people that can get value from each aspect of that, even if they wouldn't identify it as saying that this is what they need in that moment, right? That
Yeah.
this isn't their biggest presenting problem, but there's still value on it.
Yeah. Well, and separate from this program, I'm just noticing people coming in the last year or two are presenting with more challenges. The more and more that people are coming in and the stigma is kind of going away around seeking help for a slew of issues, the things that are showing up is more complex, right? And so that just tells both of us that we need to have people that know how to kind of recognize and see that and help them through because it's not all going to look the same. And I think when we're newer, when we're still kind of learning in the first couple years, like we're just not able to differentiate things, which just means we're just not able to help as effectively. And so, yeah, I've just seen people come in with much different kinds of presentations as well as defenses to getting help, right? And so again, I'm excited for this program and the way in which we're trying to kind of create it and who we're putting in the roles of kind of the people that are going to be spending the most amount of time with them. And yeah, I just think it's going to be something new and something really effective.
Agreed. Yeah, and I think that one of the luxuries we have is that we will have less of a learning curve as far as how everybody works together and how we're able to help people in different capacities. I think that the folks who are going to be leading this are people who have worked together for years. They know each other very well. They know even know each other's styles and know what they're going to get from a group led by one of them versus another one. And then beyond that, you and I both know all these people very well. We know what to expect from them and we know what type of work they will be doing. So I think that our excitement as a group, right, comes around, kind of feeling like you have an all-star team walking into a game of people where that you have these different people who are tops in any of these areas, and knowing that people are going to be able to have access to that type of care is ultimately very exciting to me. Is that knowing that, look, there's people who are going to come in who really it's critical right now that they get the best care possible, and that we can be fully confident that they are getting that, and also can assure that they do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess a couple other pieces that kind of piggyback on that for me are their ability to kind of be in the moment and utilize their kind of decades of clinical experience for what the moment needs, right? And so that for me is huge. That on any given day, the plan is for A, but something is presenting where we need to do B, C, or D or something else, right? And so that for me is like gives me so much comfort to know how much experience is going to be in the room to be able to really know what's going to be most useful. And even though there will be obviously a structure and a plan and a cadence to all that, the ability to kind of utilize a specific moment that will be helpful, that too just seems like a really great benefit to having such a strong team. The other part about it is, as owners of the program, we're all of us are talking and all of us are kind of finding new ways to tweak things and make improvements so that the quality of the clinical care, right, is happening in real time, right? And it's not something is not just kind of packaged and like delivered, that like it's moving, it's fluctuating kind of depending on the needs of the current groups. And that too for me is just really exciting to kind of know that we don't know who's going to show up. We don't know necessarily what those specific needs are going to be and how to meet those needs, but that we're all kind of working together to kind of navigate that week in and week out.
Yeah, and yeah, I agree. And if you think about it, right, like the goal is to maximize the amount of value that somebody gets in the time that they're spending towards trying to work through these things. That's what we would like to do. We would like to give them as much possible value as we can. I think one of the things that I think is that senior clinicians get very good at is they become more efficient. They become more efficient in the way that they work, and they get, the same amount of time, you will get more out of that time. And I think that that's something that, really is hard to teach, right? It's hard to teach someone how to do that. And it's just, there's some people who do that very well. And I think, yeah, if I go back to what I'm the most excited about, I'm the most excited about the clinical team that will be doing this work, because these are people that we know and we trust, and we know what type of work that they do. So there's really no question, as in my mind, like the type of care people will get, because I know exactly the type of care they're going to get. And that's not true when somebody, wherever they're going to go, you never know, right? They don't know before they walk through the door. They can see that it sounds good and it looks good. But we've seen over the last 22, 23 years that if you continue to, have very good people doing the work and give really good experiences and care to those people, that they will walk away from that having felt like this was a good use of their time and effort. And then if somebody else they know who needs that same type of care, they're going to tell them. So I feel very confident in our ability to have people, when they, as they go through our programming, that they will walk away feeling like they really got what they had hoped they would get, but also more than that, probably even more than they were hoping for.
Yeah. Well, you had mentioned earlier, kind of the level of care is for this new program is going to be PHP and IOP level of care. And yes, it's going to be like at our Millennium kind of site and things like that. And kind of specifically, if somebody is looking for something like this, the name of our new program is Atlas, which I think is a cool name, just in terms of just kind of the meaning around Atlas. But it's both kind of like its own new thing, but it's also, for me, what I like about it is it's run and kind of operated with kind of the last, like you said, 22, 23 years of Millennium kind of expertise and commitment to helping people in our community in a really kind of like important and conscious way.
Yeah, very excited about it. I know you are too. And another just little interesting thing is when we kind of started talking about doing this and looking at how to do that, and started talking with our group, and we were, we thought it was a good idea. We thought it sounded exciting. We thought it might be something we'd want to do, but we weren't sure what the feedback we would get. We weren't sure whether people would want, does this sound like something you want to do? Does it sound like, do you think you'd be good at it? Like those type of things. And I think one of the things that was surprising to me was that to a person, that our entire clinical staff is interested and wants to be involved in this. And so I think that was like a pleasant surprise to me, that that everybody was really and also excited about it, that it's a different way than how we have, kind of coordinated care over the years, but always been a valuable piece of people's options is what they can do. And so I'm just excited to, be able to utilizing people and processes that we know and then put them in that structure. And I think it could be just an amazing care model.
Yeah. Well, and like any of our other programs, I mean, you and I really value our connection to the community. And so we return so many phone calls every week to people that are inquire about all of our services. And so that's going to continue, right? So when people call in, they can ask us questions, they can kind of hear from us, why this would be a good fit or why maybe may not be a good fit for kind of what they're going through. And so again, that's just another element of how you and I have really wanted to operate Millennium is just kind of like that our interactions with either referrants or clients or whomever, right, that we're answering questions and we're helping people kind of best know what we're doing and, help them kind of transition into our care or help them figure out, where they need to end up.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
I think
Well,
that's good. What do you think?
yeah. And look, I think that again, with anything new, right? It's kind of like there's the unknowns, but I think, over 6 months we've spent, as much time as we can trying to look at all the possible blind spots. And yeah, I'm just excited for us to kind of get going in the middle of the summer.
Yep, we will. Just for a little insight, our plan is to be kind of going live with this on July 15th. So that's where we are. I think that's realistic. And so that's where we hope to start enrolling.
Okay, Derek. Well, I'm glad we got a little bit of time to talk, especially about something we're both really excited about. And yeah, we'll be back again soon.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.